Coming up, the weather brewing in the Caribbean, now upgraded to subtropical storm Alberto. Meteorologist Josh Stone is tracking the storm's path. Plus, with wet weather on the way, local businesses are bracing for cancellations from guests. And gas prices are on the rise. Will that slow down any busy travelers this weekend? Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC 7 News at noon.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. This season's first named tropical storm has formed. The National Hurricane Center naming it subtropical storm Alberto. Let's get right to meteorologist Josh Stone with the first alert forecast. Josh?
Okay, thanks so much, Scott. Yeah, at 10 a.m. this morning, we have our first subtropical storm of the season. This is Alberto, and the reason why it's not a tropical storm is because the center of it is colder. So we are early in the season. We're officially not even into the season yet. That starts on June 1st, but this developed. We were monitoring this depression, and finally it is a subtropical system. You can see the flare-up of the thunderstorms really is getting going now, mostly on the eastern side. There's some upper level wind shear here. As you can see, most of the activity on the eastern side of the circulation. But the question is, where is this thing headed? And of course, Florida could be in its path. And looks like the models are now starting to become more in agreement. Somewhere probably between the Panhandle and Louisiana is probably where this is going to make landfall. I don't think it's going to gain any more strength than potentially a tropical storm. I think we'll hold off there if it does gain strength, because remember, even though the Gulf waters are warm now, they're not that warm like in August and September when they're 90 degrees. So these storms really tend to explode when temperatures in the Gulf waters are very warm, but that's not the case here. Of course, we'll have more detail on this and your Memorial Day weekend forecast coming up.
All right, Josh, thank you. The hurricane experts with NOAA say this could be an active or slightly above active season. NOAA expects between 10 and 16 named storms, with up to 4 of those becoming Category 3 or higher hurricanes. 2017 was particularly active with 6 major hurricanes, including Hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and Maria. Officials warn there's no sure way to pinpoint which areas could be hit with the most severe storms. Hurricane season starts June 1st. And as the Suncoast gets ready for potentially heavy rain this weekend and possibly some flooding from Alberto, businesses on the barrier islands are expecting to lose some business this holiday weekend. Some hotel owners say customers are calling in to ask about rental cancellations, while other outdoor businesses like a Segway tour on Bradenton Beach say their normally booked schedules are wide open.
People are more of the wait and see attitude this weekend, which I think leaves a lot of us operators a little up in the air to know what it's going to look like financially.
We've had a few people call for cancellations, but I mean, it's going to be rain.
The hotels and rentals we talked to say so far very few have canceled their reservations, but it's important to note most rentals will charge customers extra for backing out at the last minute. AAA is predicting more than 36 million people nationwide will hit the road this Memorial Day weekend, and they'll do so with gas prices on the rise. Will those prices at the pump force some Suncoast drivers to change their travel plans this weekend and throughout the summer? Here's ABC 7's Marla Spence.
Memorial Day is the start of the busy summer travel season, and it's expected to be busier than last. Meanwhile, on average, gas is 60 cents more expensive per gallon than Memorial Day 2017. We spoke to people fueling up and getting ready to make their way out of town for the holiday weekend. They told me they enjoy traveling too much to let gas prices change their plans.
Hey, I'm going to Daytona for this weekend. The gas price ain't gonna change my mind. Gotta get where we gotta get at, you know what I'm saying?
No, the gas prices will not influence whether we travel or not this summer.
Here's a closer look at the numbers. Right now, AAA says the average price for a gallon of regular unleaded in Florida is $2.91. It's even higher nationwide at $2.96 a gallon. 1 year ago, gas was $2.31 a gallon. Now here's where you can go for the least expensive gas on the Suncoast. According to GasBuddy.com, you can find regular unleaded for $2.79 a gallon at the Citgo on 15th Street and Televast Road in Sarasota. And in Bradenton, the lowest price is also $2.79 at the Marathon on 47th and 53rd Avenue East near Lockwood Ridge Road. Although gas prices are going up, drivers say that does not intimidate them, and they still plan on traveling traveling this summer. I'm Marla Spence reporting in Sarasota for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Marla, thank you. And speaking of gas, especially this weekend, be sure to have your guard up for those gas pump card skimmers as you fill up. You can avoid them by just paying in cash. Also, if you need to use your credit card, check to make sure the area where you insert it is closed and has not been tampered with. Always use a pump closer to the front of the store, and then, of course, use a credit card instead of the debit card. Credit cards have better fraud protection, and the money is not deducted immediately from your account. Florida Highway Patrol charging a driver in a deadly hit-and-run crash in Venice. It happened last week on US 41 near the intersection with Short Road. Troopers say 19-year-old Zachary O'Brien was trying to cross 41 when he was hit by a maroon SUV. And that's when troopers say the driver, 32-year-old Joshua McNamara of Venice, took off. McNamara is now charged with leaving the scene of a deadly crash and tampering with evidence after troopers say they found the maroon Ford Explorer covered up behind his home. New developments in the Russia investigation as President Trump continues to push his unsubstantiated claim that the FBI put a spy into his campaign. ABC's Arlette Saenz explains what congressional leaders are now doing to look into that claim.
President Trump celebrated the graduating midshipmen at the Naval Academy, but on his mind was the Russia investigation. He's once again pushing a conspiracy theory based on no actual evidence that the Obama administration planted a spy inside his 2016 campaign. The president tweeting, "Can anyone even imagine having spies placed in a competing campaign by the people and party in absolute power for the sole purpose of political advantage and gain?"
We now call it Spygate.
But he's offered no proof that anyone spied on his campaign. The New York Times recently reported that an FBI informant was sent to talk with Trump campaign associates about their contacts with Russians that had raised suspicions. But the use of such confidential informants by the FBI is routine. On Thursday, congressional leaders from both parties huddled behind closed doors for a classified briefing. What lawmakers heard in those meetings is unknown. One Republican leader in the briefing told Fox News he didn't learn anything unexpected.
Nothing particularly surprising.
But the Democratic leaders present made this blunt assessment.
Nothing we heard today has changed our view that there is no evidence to support any allegation that the FBI or any intelligence agency placed a spy in the Trump campaign.
Also on hand for part of the briefings, White House Chief of Staff John Kelly and Emmett Flood, the White House lawyer dealing with the Russia probe. Democrats raised concern about their appearance. Senator Mark Warner tweeting they had no business showing up to a classified intelligence briefing. President Trump's attorney Rudy Giuliani said the president personally wanted Emmett Flood at that briefing. Congressman Schiff called their appearance completely inappropriate and says he made that clear to Flood. Arlette Saenz, ABC News, Washington.
Lawmakers looking to approve a plan to give the military about $640 billion, including pay raises for the first time in 9 years. The House passing the plan that includes nearly a 3% pay raise for troops. The bill also authorizes President Trump's request to hold a military parade in Washington to honor veterans. The House will now meet with Senate lawmakers who are working on their own version of the military spending bill. That deadline is set for September 30th. Remember, for the latest on breaking news across the world and here on the Suncoast, as well as your First Alert weather forecast, download our apps. You can find them at your app store under WWSB and My Suncoast. Still to come in your Suncoast News, the latest look at your First Alert forecast for the upcoming weekend and why the timing of your body clock could be putting you in a bad mood. And we'll take a look at what beaches made the cut on Dr. Beach's 2018 list.
To be able to just get my son here and not think about how we will pay for it, it just takes so much weight off of my family. St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do it yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers.
Thank you.
Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Get more for your money at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Subaru vehicles hold their value better than any other brand for 2018, according to ALG. And Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's most trusted brand for 4 years running. The Subaru Impreza is an IIHS top safety pick for 11 years running. Lease a new Subaru Impreza today for just $155 a month. Or get 0% financing with zero down. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
According to a new survey by U.S. News and World Report, 3 of Alabama's top 4 hotels and resorts are part of the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail Resort Collection. The Grand Hotel Marriott Resort in Point Clear, the Battle House Renaissance Mobile Hotel and Spa, and the Renaissance Birmingham Ross Bridge Golf Resort and Spa. Hey, we didn't invent Southern hospitality, we just offer more of it. Visit rtjgolf.com/resorts to find out more.
Keep up with the Suncoast. Watch your favorite ABC 7 shows on your streaming device.
Well, welcome back and good to see you. Happy Friday. I'm meteorologist Josh Stone in for John Scalzi today. Well, what has developed here in the Western Caribbean? We have a subtropical system. This is Alberto. The National Hurricane Center just updated this at 10 a.m. It was a disturbance and now it has become a little bit stronger. It's not a tropical storm yet, but basically it is a tropical storm. The only real difference here is that the core of this is colder than a typical tropical storm. So it could gain strength to a tropical storm, but I don't think it will get any stronger than that. But it is tracking to the north and northeast at 6 miles per hour, has a pressure of 1005 millibars, and has sustained winds right now of 40 miles per hour. Now, where's Florida in relation to this? Well, we're to the north and east of this system, and as we all know, the front right part of these storms happens to be the most strong, or strongest part, and it's going to whiplash us with some heavy rain and moisture that will come around from the right side. So it doesn't look at this time like this is going to make a direct impact here along the Sun Coast, but still we're going to be on the right side of this storm, and it's going to bring up all that moisture in front of it and drop it on top of us as we go through this Memorial Day weekend. So we're talking about Saturday and Sunday, lingering into Memorial Day on Monday, next Monday, and then even into Tuesday as well. 2 models to point out here. Here's our Euro model, and this has been very reliable in the past of these tropical systems, but it takes it right into, looks like Louisiana, at least the border of Alabama, Louisiana, and then the American forecast model, this is their GFS model, basically kind of does the same thing. So we are anticipating, though, we'll be seeing plenty of rain. Maybe by the time this all wraps up, 3 to potentially 4 or even 5 inches of rainfall by the time this is done. Still some dry air on the west side. We do have some upper level wind shear. That's why most of the activity is on the east side of the storm right now. So it doesn't look like it's going to gain any more strength, like I said, beyond a tropical storm, even if it gets to that strength. But as far as our chances for hurricanes, we're not even into the hurricane season. That begins on June 1st, and right now it's a very rare event that we're seeing right now. 85 degrees, we have partly cloudy skies, some activity on the radar. That's that beginnings of the tropical moisture coming in from the south and the southeast. So breaking down the 7-day forecast for you over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, the winds are going to pick up. It's going to be cloudy, and looks like we'll have our best chance of rain maybe tomorrow afternoon into Sunday, And unfortunately for our barbecues on Monday, we may have to watch the skies because it is going to be a little bit rainy. And then things start to wind down by mid-next week as this system pulls away. And I think we'll be left with mostly sunny skies a week from today, next Friday. Back to you, Scott.
Josh, thank you. And Health Smart, a new study is taking a closer look at how your internal clock impacts mental health. Here's Kim Hutcherson with a story.
Your mood has a lot to do with your sleep schedule. Disrupting your internal clock may put you at a higher risk for mood disorders, ranging from depression and bipolar disorder to loneliness, unhappiness, and general mood instability. For the study, more than 91,000 participants wore motion tracking devices on their wrists for a week. That data was used to classify their internal clocks as disrupted or not disrupted. People who were inactive during the day and active at night were classified as having disrupted internal clocks. Those individuals were between 6 and 10% more likely to have been diagnosed with a mood disorder. The researchers say the body's clock plays a crucial role in mood, but admit further research is needed to determine the extent of the impact. The study's participants were between 37 and 73 years old, but most mood disorders appear before age 24. Also, researchers can't say if disrupted sleep causes the mood disorders or if mood disorders are just a symptom of disrupted sleep. I'm Kim Hutcherson.
Well, it's time for lunch, so let's head over to the kitchen and say hello to ABC 7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher, who has a guest today from Southern Manatee Fire and Rescue. Judy?
Well, I'm really excited today because I met Chuck when I was shopping at the fresh market, and he was looking for really fresh ingredients and flaxseed oil. We got to talking. I wanted to honor our great rescue firefighters. And tell us, Chuck, what station are you from?
I work in Manatee County, Southern Manatee Fire Rescue.
And they must be the healthiest team out there because you guys are creating some really great meals. Yeah. What's the dish you're making today?
I'm making a firehouse salad with seared salmon, and the main ingredient part of the dish is going to be the vinaigrette. It's a very healthy vinaigrette with good ingredients.
And we'll come back in just a few minutes with Chuck, and we will learn how to make the vinaigrette and healthy choices. We'll be right back.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Since 2004, Embracing Our Differences has used the power of art and education to promote diversity. One way it accomplishes this is through its annual outdoor exhibition of 45 billboard-sized works of art, each accompanied by an inspirational quote. Join us in creating a community that is inclusive for all, where differences are embraced and individuality is celebrated. We invite you to celebrate the voices and visions of diversity and inclusion at this year's exhibit at Sarasota's Island Park.
Get to Sunset Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat in Sarasota for big savings on new Ram trucks. The Ram 1500 has been named a Consumer Guide Best Buy for 6 years in a row. And right now, get the all-new redesigned 2018 Ram Quad Cab for as little as $23,999. Or save big and get up to $12,400 off a new Ram Bighorn Crew Cab. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat in Sarasota.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
ABC 7 is the most watched, most trusted news source on the Suncoast, and we owe it all to you, our loyal viewers. Thank you for making us #1.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
All right, it's time to meet our pet of the week. Josh is with the founder of Dante's Den and host of Animal Outtakes, Marsha Panucci, to tell us more about Holly. Josh?
All right, thanks so much, Marsha, for joining us once again on this Friday. And we have Holly. Let's find out more about Holly. She's really cute.
Well, she's adorable, and she is what's known as a Peekapoo. Now, that is a cross between a Pekingese and a poodle.
Okay.
So if you're looking for a hyperallergenic dog, here she is. Now, she's only 3 years old, so you're going to have a long, long life with her. And she's one of these dogs that we call the boutique dogs. And they are just so precious. Gene pool is good on the dogs when they blend them like this, so you'll be getting quite a gal. Now, there is only one caveat, Josh. She wants to be the queen of her own castle.
Ah, okay.
She doesn't care for other dogs. She doesn't care for cats, parrots, anything else. No fish. She just wants to be. She just wants to be the keeper of her castle.
She's very, very soft.
Yeah.
As you pet her, and just really precious.
Well, she's got more of the
nervous,
poodle.
but she's
yeah,
precious.
she's got more of the poodle fur,
Uh-huh.
as you can see. So this is, of course, what makes her the hyperallergenic. So if this is the type of dog you're looking for, yeah, well, you could take her home. Now, she loves to ride cars. She loves to take long walks. She's good with children. But again, no other dogs, no other animals in the house.
Any diet restrictions?
Anything she can eat.
Really? Okay.
You know, when they're this age, when they're 3 years old, they're still part puppy, and they're of course you need to give them the food that is good for them, but they will eat just about everything and wonderful treats.
Well, she seems like a great companion.
Oh,
She's just
she
kind of
is.
melting in your arms
Yeah,
right there.
she is. She's just, she loves to be petted. Just loves it.
Marsha, how can we get Holly a new home?
Well, Holly is being presented today by the Florida Poodle Rescue, so you can call 727-265-1766. There is an application on their website, so you can start to fill that out. And of course, name her that this is who you would like. And if they pass all of the criteria, which you know is very intensive, then Holly will be waiting.
I got a little smile from Holly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on, Holly and Marsha. We
Great
really
to see
appreciate
you, Josh.
it. And back to you, Scott.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Let's get back to the kitchen now. Judy is there with her friend Chuck Moonen from Manatee County Fire Rescue. Judy?
Welcome back with South Manatee's finest. Chuck, tell us, how are we going to get started with the dish?
Well, with the dish, I'm going to make a dressing that's very healthy and good for you. I
Okay.
have these ingredients here: garlic, ginger, and turmeric, which I've already got cut up.
Great
half a cup of each.
anti-inflammatories.
Very good
Okay.
anti-inflammatories, good for the digestive system, really good for you.
Great.
We put that right into a food processor.
Great, and
we
you
get
have
it
some
all
already
ground
done.
up. All right?
Yep.
Then I like to put it into a mason jar.
Okay.
And then add our other ingredients to it with our cider vinegar, liquid amino acid, and then flaxseed oil.
All great ingredients to use, healthy for the whole body.
They're really good for you.
Awesome.
This is a finished vinaigrette I have already. When you do this, you want the vinegar, you want all that stuff to sit in there for like 2 or 3 days. It kind of helps pickle this stuff.
Okay.
You don't want to eat it right away. So this
Sounds
one's already
good.
been dressed for a while.
Good, I'm excited to try it.
Yeah.
Now, what have you seasoned the salmon with?
I seasoned the salmon with some turmeric also, and a little bit of cumin, and then I let that sit on there for a while so I kind of get the flavor to get into it, and then before I cook it, put on some salt and pepper. You don't want to put the salt on too early, otherwise it starts drawing out all the moisture of it.
Now, you have some beautiful vegetables, and I
Yes.
have to say, your mise en place, your prep is pretty impressive. I mean, it is
Thank you.
cut to scale. So let's talk about what goes in the salad part of it.
Well, I mean, you can put in whatever you want at home. The main thing you want is the dressing, whatever protein you want. I'm using salmon today, and then I got a little fancy with the cutting of my vegetables. I use a a little machine here, and I julienne everything. But you can do it any way you want at home.
Great.
So here I've got tomatoes, zucchini.
Do you mind if I turn to the salmon?
No, thank you very
look
much.
at this. Oh man, that is
Cucumbers.
beautiful. Beets,
carrots, and red peppers. Just get your dressing in here. You keep that in your refrigerator. Use it whenever you want. It's really good for you. You'll love the taste. Shake it up.
This is like a super antioxidant. Now, are there challenges at the fire station with you guys? You try to do a few healthy
Sometimes we do, yeah. We've done like a Biggest Loser contest and try to lose weight. And
I think I
try
need
to
to
eat healthy.
join that group as well. This is great. And you said to let the salad dressing sit for about 2 to 3 days,
yeah, let
right?
it pickle in the vinegar and the amino acids before you start using it.
Such bright flavors. Now I see some, what is that? What do we have over here? Sunflower?
Some sunflower seeds and some pumpkin seeds.
Awesome. So you're getting that crunch in as well, which I always say is really important when you're eating healthy and you're trying to lose weight. What your brain and your body needs are different textures, so you feel good about it. So that crispness is going to be fantastic. Beets that aren't cooked are even better for you. And this is a loaded, healthy dinner that I'm going to look forward to preparing for myself. So the salmon looks done. So any type of protein right on top.
Yeah, whatever you would like. Last night I made this at the firehouse, and some guy didn't like tomato or that, so they have to make their own.
Well, yeah, if they're picky, wait a minute. If they're picky and you're the one that's cooking, forget it. That looks...
I cater to them.
That looks awesome. You sure do. Now, if you want this recipe and you're just want to think of the healthy, fresh choices, take after Manatee County's finest and make this recipe. Go on mysuncoast.com. Click on recipes, you'll get this recipe. And Chuck, I can't thank you enough.
You're
we
welcome.
appreciate
Thank you
that
so much
all
for
of you
having me.
all do.
Appreciate it.
Throw down to the other people at the station. Let's see if we can get them on and bring Sarasota and Venice involved as well. We look forward to it. Thanks so much for joining us
Thank
and
you.
healthy eating.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free. You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
A decade of war has taken an unprecedented toll on our men and women in uniform.
Hundreds of thousands of our veterans are suffering from the trauma of war.
At Justice for Vets, we believe that every veteran should have the opportunity for treatment and restoration.
Get involved and go to justiceforvets.org.
Help put treatment within reach of veterans in crisis.
Veterans fought for our freedom. Now it's our turn to fight for theirs.
Everyone's buzzing about Suncoast View.
I like watching the Suncoast View.
I like the Suncoast View.
The cooking segments, I love the recipes. The theater segments are terrific.
Join Stephanie Roberts, Linda Carson, and special guests on Suncoast View for hot topics, everyday issues, celebrities, food, fashion, fitness, and everything in between. Nothing is off limits.
They're just fun.
For smart, fun talk in the afternoon, watch Suncoast View, weekdays at 4 on ABC 7.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
I used to dread getting up and going to work.
I was done with the corporate grind.
I was tired of being a starving artist.
And I started looking around for a business that I believed in, and I kind of wanted to do something a little more green.
My SCORE mentor helped me take the first step.
He helped me create a business plan and helped me implement it.
They've really taught me how to think big.
SCORE helped me to make the unimaginable possible, all for free. I'm here because of SCORE.
I'm here because of SCORE.
Get your free business mentor at score.org.
Coming up, the weather brewing in the Caribbean, now upgraded to subtropical storm Alberto, what its impact will be on us. Plus, Harvey Weinstein turning himself into NYPD while the Hollywood mogul is still denying the claims against him. And Venice High School's former head football coach issues a public apology, but he says he's learned since being fired.
You're one at 12:30.
Top story this half hour continues to be the wet weather heading our way this weekend. Let's get to meteorologist Josh Stone, who's in for John Scalzi today. Josh?
All right, thanks so much, Scott. Yeah, as of 10 a.m. this morning, the National Hurricane Center upgraded this disturbance we've been tracking for a few days in the Western Caribbean into a subtropical system. So what we have here is, it's not a tropical storm. Basically it is, but it has a cold core to it. But you can see the convection really starting to blow up here. Most of it's on the east side of the storm because we have some upper level wind shear, but it is looking more healthy. And if it does get upgraded to officially a tropical storm, I don't think it's going to get any stronger than that. But one thing for sure, we will definitely get plenty of rain out of this, maybe 4 to 5 inches of rain in some locations over the weekend by the time this wraps up. Here's details on it. Max sustained winds are 40 miles per hour. Pressure's at 1005 millibars. It's moving to the north and northeast at 6 miles per hour. Now, of course, Florida is to the north and northeast of this system, but we think this is going to bank slowly to the north eventually, and maybe back towards the north or the northwest here as a trough kind of digs in and kind of slingshots it backwards. So if that happens, then we're not going to get the brunt of the storm, but still we'll definitely get our share of rainfall. We'll talk more about this and, of course, the upcoming wet weekend forecast. Back to you.
Josh, thank you. Several neighborhoods in the southern part of Manatee County prone to flooding are bracing for the possibility of heavy rains this weekend. The county giving out sandbags to residents who typically experience flooding. Public Works also cleaning out drains and ditches. Long term, the county is researching how to best fix these flood-prone neighborhoods, and they're also considering a stormwater fee. Last August, all it took was several days of heavy rainfall, even before Irma, to cause severe flooding damage.
If we get a heavy rain event, and I'm not talking enormous amount, I'm really talking about 4 to 5 inches within a 12-hour period, it could be no name all over again, because right now our ground is saturated as it is.
If you need sandbags, the county will have them available again today at its transit center until 7 p.m. About 200 were given out yesterday. And if you come across a flooded road this holiday weekend, don't take any chances. Large amounts of water on a paved street can lift your vehicle and even flood it. So police say turn around, don't drown, and avoid crossing any flowing water.
You do not know how deep that water is. Okay, it's amazing how powerful flowing and rushing water can be.
Troopers say even if you have to take a longer route, it's still a safer idea than trying to pass through a flooded road. Well, we're learning new details today about the investigation into Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein. ABC's Maggie Rulli explains the charges he's now facing as he turns himself into the NYPD.
This morning, Harvey Weinstein has turned himself in to authorities.
Mr. Weinstein will enter a plea of not guilty.
Surrendering to police after an NYPD investigation into allegations by 2 women led to charges of rape and a criminal sex act.
We intend to move very quickly to dismiss these charges. We believe that they are constitutionally flawed.
Rose McGowan was one of Weinstein's first accusers.
I have to admit, I didn't think I would see the day that he would have handcuffs on him.
Her allegations are past the statute of limitations, but today's charges come from 2 other women, including former aspiring actress Lucia Evans. She told The New Yorker back in October that Weinstein overpowered and forced her to perform a sexual act during a business meeting at his Manhattan office in 2004, adding, "I said over and over, I don't want to do this. Stop. Don't."
When I first began speaking to Harvey Weinstein's accusers, they were correctly terrified.
Ronan Farrow first broke the story that has been with Weinstein's accusers since the beginning.
Now we live in a universe in which it is conceivable that survivors speak on an issue like this about someone that powerful and they're heard.
Harvey Weinstein walked out of this courthouse door just a short time ago after posting a $1 million cash bail. He's only allowed to travel in the New York, Connecticut area and is currently being fitted with a tracking device so the court can monitor his every move 24/7. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
And the latest Hollywood star to be accused of inappropriate behavior, Oscar winner Morgan Freeman. An exclusive report from CNN detailed allegations from 8 women from both movie sets and in press interviews, who all said they were either harassed or endured inappropriate sexual behavior by Freeman. 8 others backed up the allegations. The 80-year-old released an apology to quote anyone who felt uncomfortable or disrespected. He went on to say making women feel uncomfortable was never his intent. The Screen Actors Guild is now in the process of trying to figure out if they will take back a Lifetime Achievement Award they recently presented to Freeman. New at noon, a suspect is in custody after a shooting at a middle school in Indiana this morning. Police say 2 victims are in the hospital, a teacher and a student, both in critical condition. Children were seen running to school buses, which were waiting to take them to another nearby school. Police have not released the suspect's name, but they say he is a male student at that middle school. This is a developing story, so check at mysuncoast.com for the latest on this investigation. Here on the Suncoast, the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office says a Punta Gorda Middle School student is in custody after threatening social media post. Punta Gorda police waited outside of the school today and stopped the student at a bus stop when they arrived. Law enforcement staying on campus today to make sure students are not alarmed by any rumors relating to the post, and they say it is not a credible threat. Here in the Suncoast, it's been several weeks since John Peacock was fired as the head football coach at Venice High School after leading the school to its 2nd state championship. Peacock was dismissed in April after liking one of his players' tweets about a rival coach that some felt was racially charged. Since then, one of the program's top sponsors ended a nearly 40-year relationship with the school, while supporters of Peacock have been petitioning to bring him back. Now Peacock is issuing a public apology saying in part, he's done a considerable amount of self-reflection on his behavior and actions and that his termination had a negative effect on his family, friends, and the community. Peacock takes responsibility for his actions while accepting why Venice High administration chose to dismiss him. New developments in the Lakewood Ranch Boulevard expansion project. Bids are now open for that project. Sarasota County Commissioners requiring the Lakewood Ranch Stewardship District to build the road after approving their proposal to build 5,100 homes. The nearly 2-mile stretch will connect University Parkway and Fruitville Road by going through what is currently Wendell Kent Road. The pastor at a nearby church says the expansion is partly why the church moved there in the first place.
We're excited that we're finally almost at the end of the journey, which is the start of another journey, to allow people to connect with the Church of Hope.
Developers say they'll choose the contractor within 2 weeks, then break ground at the end of June. They hope to have the project complete a little more than a year from then. And it's been a little over a year since the city of Sarasota approved a $1 billion Quaid development on the Bayfront. Now that project is getting underway. It will include nearly 700 new residential units along with office and commercial space. The project represents a $1 billion investment from developer Greenpoint Communities based out of Jacksonville. It will go up in separate blocks, with the Ritz residential towers being the first development.
Having a project that fits into the community and that adds not only additional character to that space, but also brings a lot of good jobs to this area.
President of Greenpoint Communities hopes the end result will be a great complement to the city, connecting downtown with the waterfront. 2 Florida beaches have made it onto Dr. Beach's new Best Beach list, but Siesta Beach did not make the cut. Stephen Leatherman, the professor at Florida International University, known as Dr. Beach, released his annual list. Grayton Beach in Florida Panhandle came in at number 3, and Clearwater Beach, or Caladesi, was number 10. A crescent-shaped beach on Maui got the top spot. That's Hawaii's Kapalua Bay Beach. Since Siesta Beach won for the second time last year, it was retired from consideration for this year. The Seafood Festival at St. Armand's Circle in Sarasota has been postponed until next weekend. The annual festival was originally scheduled for this weekend, but because of the rainy weather that we are expecting, it'll now happen on Saturday, June 2nd, Sunday, June 3rd. The free event will offer fresh seafood by local vendors and live music. Still to come in your Suncoast News, how subtropical storm Alberto could impact your holiday weekend plans, and why Samsung is getting ready to pay Apple over $500 million after a massive lawsuit against the tech giant.
Hey everybody, I'm Chef Bob Vitello here with Chef Alan Bristow. What do you got going on for us today, bud? Looks good.
Really great dish today. We're going to do grilled portobellos with edamame and walnuts in a salad. It's really good.
Nice healthy dish here, man.
So what we got, we're going to marinate our grilled portobellos before we grill them. So real quick, we're going to put some portobellos in a bowl, hit it with a little dry oregano. I'm going to hit it with a little balsamic vinaigrette, any of your favorite balsamic vinaigrettes that you like. A little bit of chopped roasted garlic in here.
Just a nice regular marinade.
Just regular little marinade. Yep. And you can let it marinate for 10 or 20 minutes and up to about an hour, hour and a half. Okay, so we're gonna let that go. Then what we do is we put this in a grill pan, just like this, which is real nice. And you can hear that sizzle, which is really, really good.
Could you do this with the big portobellos and just slice them smaller?
Absolutely.
Pretty
Make
cool.
sure that you clean the ribs out or the gills on the underside, because that'll help keep it from turning. So once you have your portobellos done, they should look beautiful, nice little grill mark like that on them. And then we're going to take the portobellos after we've chopped them up, put them in a little container here. We're going to take our edamame and put it in here as well. Our little bit of walnuts and put it in here as well.
This looks good.
Yeah, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Okay, then we're going to mix this all up real nice, just like that.
That's a nice Barbie-sized salad.
Absolutely. And for the dressing, we've got some Greek yogurt. And we're going to add a little bit of that balsamic vinaigrette right into the Greek yogurt, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Give that a quick little stir here. It's got a lot of great flavors to it. It's quite healthy for you, good vegetarian dish. Put that in there.
Nice vegetarian dish. What are you going to serve with it?
I tell you what, you know what we're going to serve with this? Barbecued ribs.
All right, starting tomorrow, be sure to stop by your Publix Apron Simple Meals kiosk, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients after sampling this delicious dish.
Thank you, Bob.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do-it-yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
If you don't want to fall immediately into love, look away. If you don't want to awaken a desire for excellence, look away. If you don't want to be seduced, please look away.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android. This is awesome. You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
Okay, welcome back on this Friday afternoon. We see some developing clouds looking to the east and southeast, and we're going to have some showers and thunderstorms. Already some shower activity on the radar taking place here along the Suncoast, but it's going to ramp up as we go through the afternoon. And one of the reasons why is we now have a tropical system here that is coming close to our direction. This is subtropical storm Alberto, just developed at 10 a.m. earlier this morning, and it's looking pretty healthy. Most of the activity, though, as you can tell, is on the east side of this system because there's some upper level wind shear. We call this a subtropical storm because it has a colder core to it. If it was a plain old tropical storm, it would have a warm core and it'd be over much warmer waters, and then it would potentially develop into a hurricane. I don't think this is going to develop into a hurricane. It could maybe develop into a tropical storm, but right now they officially call it, the National Hurricane calls this a subtropical system with sustained winds of 40 miles per hour, pressure at 1005 millibars, movement at 6 miles per hour to the north and northeast. The computer forecasting models do take this, though, banking it to the north and possibly the northwest, so keeping the core of this away from the Suncoast, but still we're going to get our share of rainfall, and by the time this wraps up at the end of the weekend, we're talking about maybe Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, we could receive up to 4 to potentially 5 inches of rainfall by the time this thing is done. Here's our European model. You can see most of the activity as far as the core of it goes right into Alabama and Louisiana here, but we'll still get plenty of moisture on the right side of it. And the GFS model, the American model, basically takes it a little bit closer to us, so that means we could actually experience more rain if this model is correct, but the core of it will remain in the open waters here of the Gulf of Mexico and potentially either hit the Panhandle, lower Alabama, or Louisiana. Dry air in place, again, some upper level wind shear, keeping this thing not able to strengthen as much as it potentially could. But again, we're not even in hurricane season, and that starts on June 1st, and as you can see, even in June, there's minimal activity. Currently, right now, it's 85 degrees. You saw the cloudy skies from our tower cam, and this is why we have the showers and storms firing up. Sea breeze front, looks like we're going to get our share of showers and storms along the coast of the Suncoast here for this afternoon, and definitely around Osprey right now we're getting a good dousing down there. All right, taking a look at our 7-day outlook, here's what we can expect for the holiday weekend. Cloudy and wet, no doubt about that, as we'll get this tropical moisture coming in along with the winds. The winds are going to pick up as well, maybe up to 25 miles per hour at times, so you'll definitely know something's taking place with this storm, even though the core of it will be out in the Gulf of Mexico several miles out. But then we do see the clouds thin out by mid to late next week, and we'll have a little more sunshine come next Friday. Back to you, Scott.
Thanks, Josh. In consumer news, Samsung is about to pay up for copying app designs from the iPhone. A California jury has ordered Samsung to pay more than $500 million for infringing on Apple's patents. It's a bit of a split decision, though. Apple wanted Samsung to pay even more, almost $1 billion, while Samsung, of course, wanted to pay much less. Happening today, expect your inbox to be flooded with emails about privacy policy changes. You may have already seen a few of these. The new General Data Protection Regulation is now in effect, and businesses are scrambling to comply. The regulation puts limits on the way companies collect data, with users now having to give consent on how their personal information is processed. Google, Airbnb, Instagram, and other major companies have already sent out these alerts. Home sales are slowing down a bit across the United States. Experts blame low supplies and rising mortgage rates. Sale of existing homes fell 2.5% in April from the month before. Overall, sales are down about 1% this year, and inventory is tight, especially for starter homes, which is boosting prices. Also, mortgage rates are at a 7-year high, the benchmark 30-year fixed rate jumping to 4.66% this week. A group at the University of Central Florida is creating a thread made of super small LEDs that lets you use an app to then change the colors of your clothing. The material may look like a typical fabric, but with the flick of a finger on an app, it changes colors. Designers are hoping to expand options for the next textile past the fashion industry, making this thread so special. Pretty cool nonetheless. Still to come in your Suncoast News, we'll check in again with Josh and hear about the weekend rain that could impact your Memorial Day weekend. And a military mom surprises her son on his final day of school. We'll look at their heartwarming reunion next.
You want a Maserati, but you need an SUV. Why not have both? Levante, the Maserati of SUVs.
Experience it at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
Northland Outdoors is about so much more than the biggest fish or the hottest hunting spots. All across the Northland, there are amazing people with incredible stories to tell. We're going to find those stories and share them with everyone.
Join us each and every week as we explore the Northland and experience some of the most exciting outdoor adventures in the country right here in our own backyard. This is Northland Outdoors.
Many websites selling medication may look professional and legitimate, but the vast majority of sites selling prescription drugs are doing so illegally. Criminals use websites to sell counterfeit medications that may contain life-threatening toxins. Dot Pharmacy is a website verification program that helps you identify safe and trustworthy online pharmacies. Purchasing medicine online can be safe and easy. Just look for pharmacy to the right of the dot in website addresses.
Each day, researchers make discoveries that bring us closer to the moment when all cancer patients can become survivors. Their progress is made possible with the help of clinical trials. Clinical trials are the brightest torch researchers have to light their way towards better treatments. And if you've been diagnosed with cancer, they may be your brightest ray of hope. Speak with your doctor and visit standuptocancer.org/clinical trials to learn more. Together, we can stand up for all of us.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Give kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon? You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC 7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
In entertainment news, Star Wars fans are rejoicing. Solo is finally in theaters. ABC's Jason Nathanson sat down with director Ron Howard to talk about the film in today's Showbiz Wrap.
Star Wars fans packed theaters Thursday night for the opening of the latest film in the franchise, Solo, a Star Wars story. Director Ron Howard recently gave ABC News a primer on what to expect.
It's the defining relationships and the defining adventures that would help begin to shape, one of the most iconic characters in movies, Han Solo.
Now when it comes to box office, expect a very good but maybe not great weekend for Solo. Experts are saying this may be the lowest opening weekend tally of the recent Star Wars film, somewhere between $130 and $150 million. Another film expected to earn a lot of cash this summer, the Jurassic World sequel, starring Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. Now, Howard's dad, Ron, directed the Solo Star Wars movie, and Pratt starred in another blockbuster already this summer, Avengers: Infinity War. But Howard's not worried about competing against friends and family.
When movies do well, it's good for the movie business.
Right.
And so the fact that they're
is, that it's a really robust summer with a lot of big movies.
Yeah.
That's exciting for us as fans of the movies.
Right. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom opens in the U.S. June 22nd.
Hi, Chris.
Becca? Monday night, we'll watch Becca become the Bachelorette. Becca Kufrin, proposed to and then dumped by Ari Lyondike Jr., gets to hand out the roses this time around, and host Chris Harrison tells me Becca's ready to go from breakup to Bachelorette.
She's over Ari, like night one, you're not worried, is that still looming? But what is looming is that memory of being heartbroken.
That memory hopefully gone now. Becca's engaged. To whom? We'll have to watch to find out. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Finally, a military mom is going viral after pulling off a big surprise at her son's last day of school. Air Force Staff Sergeant Mariana Chapman showed up to her son's school in Texas yesterday. The little guy had no idea his mom was coming home, and look at that reunion. His teachers were in on this surprise, making sure his mom surprised him right when it was his turn to be on stage. Sergeant Chapman had been deployed in South Korea since last December, but she was able to arrange the last-minute surprise trip home for her son's special day. Even better, she gets to be there for his birthday next week. That's a happy mom and son, and you can see everyone was crying there. I think I would have been too. All right, Josh gets one little last check here on Alberto and where it's headed.
The skies will be crying with a lot of tears, a lot of rain coming out of these clouds thanks to Alberto. And we're going to have another update coming in at 1 p.m. So, of course, we'll update you with that on our Facebook, Twitter, of course, our weather app, and our website. So stay tuned for that. But it looks like we have sustained winds of 40 miles per hour. It is tracking. It's going to be to the west of us, at least the core. At least this is where the cone takes us. And as far as our weekend goes, the holiday weekend is going to be wet, no doubt about that.
Yeah, okay. Thanks so much for joining us. Hope to see you again at 5 o'clock. Have a good day.
Peterson Toyota of Sarasota offers hundreds of models to choose from. And now you can take your shopping experience to the next level with SRQ Plus. You'll love its added benefits exclusively at Peterson Toyota of Sarasota or toyotaofsarasota.com.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do-it-yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Dear parents, it's time for a pop quiz. What's the best kind of play for kids? Play that makes us think? Or helps us pretend? Or teaches us rules? Or to be creative? Actually, every kind of play is important because different kinds of play give us different kinds of skills. Help us mix up the ways we play. Okay, class dismissed. Now go play.
Imagine a world filled with pillow fights, playgrounds, and the search for the perfect climbing tree. Every kid deserves that world, but 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger. At No Kid Hungry, we're committed to creating a world where every kid eats healthy food every day. We raise funds, we help families, and we lift up communities.
Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert weather app now.
Heavy rain and flooding is expected to impact parts of the Suncoast.
It will probably be forecasting hour by hour. We will see that plume of deep tropical moisture, and we continue to monitor that area of disturbed weather to the south.
Weekdays starting at 5 a.m.